So one of the things we need to work out is how to sketch these graphs. Well, eventually we're going to have to plot some points, but one of the interesting things, if we take a function such as y, let's just make that a bit smaller, y equals 3x squared plus, what should we say, 6x minus 1. We have a way of finding the vertex. The vertex is the top or the bottom point of the parabola. So the x value of the vertex is given by a formula which we can use every time, and that formula is negative b over 2a. The a value is always the number in front of x squared. The b value is the number in front of x. This is the c value, but we don't actually need it anyway. So in this case here, negative b will be negative 6, because the 6 is positive, over 2 times 3. And negative 6, 2 times 3 is 6, so we get negative 1. The y value of the vertex is found by substituting. So we're going to take this value for negative 1, and we're going to put it into the equation in here and here. So therefore we get 3. Where it said x squared up here, we're going to replace it with negative 1 and square it. Plus 6x is what the formula says, but replace the x with negative 1 and then minus 1. And negative 1 squared is what we do first, is 1. So that gives me 3 times 1. We'll do that in a minute. Now 6 times negative 1 is negative 6, and then minus 1. So we get 3 times 1 is 3, minus 6 minus 1 is negative 4. So the vertex is the point negative 1, comma, negative 4. Now what we do is draw a t-chart of x and y values. And we put the vertex right in the middle of those values. X equals negative 1 and y equals negative 4. Now what we're going to do is we're going to choose 2 points above negative 1 and 2 points below negative 1. So we know that negative 2 comes underneath negative 1, and negative 3 comes underneath that. Above negative 1 is 0, and then 1. And all we're going to do is substitute into the original equation up here each of these x values. So if x is 1, it becomes 3 times 1 squared plus 6 times 1 minus 1. And if you work that out, 3 plus 6 is 9 minus 1 is 8. So this is 1, 8. For x equals 0, it becomes 3 times 0 squared plus 6 times 0 minus 1. That's easy. Negative 1. What we find with negative 2 now. So 3 times negative 2 squared plus 6 times negative 2 minus 1. Well, negative 2 squared is 4 times 3 is 12. Minus 12 minus 1 equals negative 1. And what we find is that these values here are equal. And that works when the vertex is in halfway between these two numbers, which it is. So on that same basis, negative 3 here will be 8, the same as this value up here. So if we come to graph this out now, I'm just trying to think how we're going to draw this graph without creating but no space left. Let's do it up here. So we've got to go all the way up to positive 8. Draw your axes. So we can make each calibration 1. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And then negative 1, negative 2, and of course negative 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. So the first point we want to put in is the vertex, negative 1, negative 4. We haven't come down far enough. So there's negative 1, negative 4 is there. Next point is 0, negative 1, which is there. And 1 1, comma 8, which is there. So it's a real thin graph here. -2, -1 is there, and -3, 8 is up there. And there your graph comes down like this, goes through there, and all the way up there. And that's how you draw a parabola. So on this page here, we're going to give you a few questions to do for homework. So I'll give you one question: y equals 2x squared minus 8x minus 1. Sketch it, find 5 points, find the vertex first, and go from there.